Hey yo, what's the deal? You know who it is. It's the Don. Cheer! Tony Teflon. House Teflon. Teflon 316. We pull the strings. Cheer! And I'm back at you, and I wasn't gonna be, but I have no choice in this matter because I'm kind of been called out by somebody, Carlos something, who put a comment on my page. I did a video about the bastard letter, the pink letter, probably about 9 to 10 months ago. Probably when I first started doing videos that I never thought anybody would ever watch. I did not do a phenomenal job explaining it exactly as I can explain it now. And I have read the books over several times, and more things have come to light since then. So, but the man has said that I failed in that video, and the Don does not fail at all. Never. So, I'm going to do a video on it right now, and I'm going to put this, because I know that there's been another reviewer who has put a very good video out about the pink letter, and it's got a lot of views, and he has a lot of subscribers, and I'm sure a lot of people believe his theory. And I'm not saying that his theory is wrong. I'm just saying I don't go with it. So for that reason, I'm going to do mine, and I'm going to call this "Who Really Wrote the Pink Letter?" All right? And I'm going to do this as I did it before, as if it was a crime. I will dissect this. And you have to have three things in a crime. You must have the means, you must have the motive, and you must have the opportunity. Now, since people think that Mance wrote this letter, we will go with Mance first. And we will see if Mance has all three things to do this. Alright? Let's take a listen to this pink letter.
Bastard was the only word written outside the scroll. No Lord Snow or Jon Snow or Lord Commander, simply bastard. And the letter was sealed with a smear of hard pink wax. You were right to come at once, Jon said. You were right to be afraid. He cracked the seal, flattened the parchment, read. Your false king is dead, bastard. He and all his host were smashed in 7 days of battle. I have his magic sword. Tell his red whore. Your false king's friends are dead, their heads upon the walls of Winterfell. Come see them, bastard. Your false king lied, and so did you. You told the world you burned the king beyond the wall. Instead, you sent him to Winterfell to steal my bride from me. I will have my bride back. If you want Mance Rayder back, come and get him. I have him in a cage for all the North to see, proof of your lies. The cage is cold, but I have made him a warm cloak for the skins of the 6 whores who came with him to Winterfell. I want my bride back. I want the false king's queen. I want his daughter and his red witch. I want his wildling princess. I want his little prince, the wildling babe. And I want my reek. Send them to me, bastard, and I will not trouble you or your black crows. Keep them from me, and I will cut out your bastard's heart and eat it. Bastard's heart and eat it. It was signed Ramsey Bolton, trueborn Lord of Winterfell.
Alright. So that is the letter itself. Right there. Alright. So if Mance wrote this letter, so people say Mance has written this letter. Let's go through. Does Mance have the means to write this letter? Now, this letter has a couple of things in it. Let's go through the letter real quick. It says, the means. It says, your false king is dead, bastard. He and his host were smashed in 7 days of battle. So obviously we know we're talking about Stannis Baratheon right there. I have his magic sword. Tell his red whore. Alright? So, why would Mance want, at this particular time, this letter to get back to Jon, and then to tell the red whore, tell Melisandre that they killed Stannis? I don't see a reason why Mance would want those specific words to go to Melisandre. Obviously, she could look into the fire and see what's going on if that was the case. So by him saying that, I just don't know why he would say that. Your false king's friends are dead, their heads upon the wall of Winterfell. Come and see them, bastard. Now, your false king's friends are dead, their heads upon the wall of Winterfell. Come see them, bastard. This right here would show you why it's basically, this is a, I'm going to get into that part later. All right. First we do, that more goes into the Stannis thing. Your false king lied, and so did you. You told the world you burned the king beyond the wall. Instead, you sent him to Winterfell to steal my bride. Obviously, if it was Mance, he knows the plan that was set forth. Not a lot of people could know that plan that was set forth. The only people that supposedly know that plan are Mance, Jon, and Melisandre. So from that line, I clearly see why people would think Mance wrote the letter. I want my bride back. If you want Mance Rayder back, come and get him. I have him in a cage for the whole of the North to see. Proof of your lies. Alright? So we know that Mance was in the cage before. So if Mance wrote it, it would be believable to maybe to Jon that he would be in the cage because he's seen him in the cage before. Alright? Now, he's also saying here that he wants the North to see the proof that his lies, that Mance is still really alive and stuff like that. Alright? The cage is cold, and I have made him a warm cloak full of 6 whores who came with him to Winterfell. So at this point, he's saying that he caught all the spear wives and killed them all, every one of them. And Mance has them all wrapped, has all their skins there. I want my bride back. I want the false king's queen. I want his daughter and his red witch. I want the wildling princess. I want his little prince, the wildling babe, and I want my reek. Send them to me, bastard, and I will not trouble you or your black crows. Keep them from me, and I will cut out your bastard's heart and eat it. Signed, Ramsey Bolton, true-born Lord of Winterfell. Does he have the means, Mance? Does Mance at this particular time, now let's look at what the situation that left off in Winterfell. When we left last scene Mance, he was out, right? The chicks were trying to get Theon and this chick over the wall. They were fighting. Obviously, they got captured. If they did get captured, Mance is saying they have been captured and killed in this letter, right? So, when would he have this, to find this quill in this paper, and when would he be able to get this wax from Mance? That's what you would have to ask yourself if Mance wrote it. When will he be able to find the quill and the paper to give him the means to write this letter and the pink smear of wax? When will he be able to do that? Does he have the motivation to do it? Yes, of course. If he's trying to get the wildlings down to Winterfell to reveal himself there and then take over Winterfell and say, I'm not really dead, these people died, lied to you, I'm not really dead, and then them turn on Jon, 100% is great motivation for him to do it. But when it comes to means and opportunity, I see none for Mance Rayder. How could this man, at this particular time, all this going on in Winterfell, Theon escaping with these chicks, everyone scrambling, when is he going to be able to sit down and write this clearly thought out letter? Now, this is not something that's slopped together real fast. It had to be thought out by the way it's put down. When is he going to have time in all this frenzy? Find a quill and pen, sit down, take his time to write this letter. After he writes it, he must then go find where the ravens are located and find a cage, a raven cage that is going back to Castle Black. Put that, attach that, send that off without it being shot down and hope it gets there. I don't see it. I do not believe it to be possible. You tell me how it's possible with all that confusion. Now, you want to say that Mance is being controlled. He has the gem on him. And he could change himself back. All right, let's say that. Let's say Mance has the ruby on his hand, and he looks like who? Mance? He looks like himself. All right? Then he uses the gem to look like Rattleshirt. He doesn't have the bones on him, which helps the glamour, makes him look like Rattleshirt. So you need to, not that he need, because when Melisandre had it, he told him, the bones help people see you to look like this. So even if he doesn't have the bones, he could still look like this guy, kind of. He looks like this guy. You don't think they're going to say, who the fuck are you? After everything that's been going on, they're already looking for someone who's killed people, the ghost of Winterfell. They're already looking for that. So why wouldn't they think that it would be him? Now, the ghost of Winterfell, the person that has caved people's heads in, that looks like a horse kicked, that was definitely Mance from the ruby, because the ruby gave him the strength to do that. Because when you see when he fought Jon, when he had the ruby on, he had the strength to swing that longsword basically with one hand, and Jon couldn't believe how strong he was. So he does have super strength from that ruby. That's why we know he killed those people, because that person's head was kicked in and looked like a horse did it. He's the only one with that ruby on to have the strength to do that. So when he's using the glamour, he has this strength, but it's not controlling him. I have talked about that in the Melisandre chapters. If you want to look at that, you can see that did not at all challenge him whatsoever. It did not at all control him at all in any way, because Melisandre, he was concerned that he had the knife and stuff like that. So she wouldn't have been if she was able to be controlled. All right, by him. So the reason why, and let me say this for the final time, everything else the guy says, your boy on the other channel says about the letter, I agree halfway with. But the writing of the letter itself, I do not see Mance having the means or the opportunity to write this letter whatsoever. No way. So I'm going to go to who I believe wrote the letter, and that is Stannis Baratheon. I think that it's clear that he wrote this letter, and I think that a lot of things prove that he wrote this letter. So once again, let's hear the pink letter.
Bastard was the only word written outside the scroll. No Lord Snow or Jon Snow or Lord Commander, simply bastard. And the letter was sealed with a smear of hard pink wax. You were right to come at once, Jon said. You were right to be afraid.
Let's take it right from the top. The letter is smeared with hard pink wax. Who has hard pink wax? That is the Bolton's wax, all right? Now, let's go. How would Stannis get a hold of the Bolton's wax? Well, he has captured a maester from the Dreadfort. It is said that in the Winds of Winter chapter, Theon chapter, he has him. He has one captured who has a raven that goes to Castle Black and has a raven that flies back to Winterfell. So he has these two things already in his possession.
You were right to come at once, Jon said. You were right to be afraid. He cracked the seal, flattened the parchment, read. Your false king is dead, bastard. He and all his host were smashed in 7 days of battle. I have his magic sword. Tell his red whore.
First line, your false king is dead, bastard. He and his host were smashed in 7 days of battle. Obviously, we know that it did not take 7 days. There was no battle that it's impossible for that battle to have taken place in 7 days. It's no way it's a 7-day battle. It was a 7-day march to Winterfell, though it was supposed to be, and it got put longer. It says specifically, I have his magic sword, tell his red whore. If he's trying to get a message to Melisandre, he would tell her so that she can look in the flames and see this. It is also said point blank that that he says to Justin Massey, you might hear that I'm dead. You might hear that I'm gone. Even so, continue what you're doing in Bravos. Bring my soldiers and sit my daughter on the throne. So he has already concocted a plan that he is going to fake his death.
parchment read, "Your false king is dead, bastard. He and all his host were smashed in 7 days of battle. I have his magic sword. Tell his red whore. Your false king's friends are dead, their heads upon the walls of Winterfell. Come see them, bastard."
Alright, your false king's friends are dead, their heads upon the wall of Winterfell. Now, if we're in the north, right, what do Northmen do? Northmen behead people, and Northmen skin people. That's why you hear later when you talk about Ramsey and the 6 horse, he's made cloaks from. That's what Ramsey and them do. North people, Ned Stark, anyone you ever hear, John, Robb, what do? They cut people's heads off when they execute them. Alright? Who puts people's heads on spikes? That's people from down towards King's Landing. You always see that's their symbol. That's what Joffrey does. He takes Ned Stark's head, puts it on the pike. Everywhere, heads upon a pike, heads upon a pike. That's more down south, something that Stannis would know and what he would do. So that is why I believe that line is in there.
Were smashed in 7 days of battle. I have his magic sword. Tell his red whore. Your false king's friends are dead, their heads upon the walls of Winterfell. Come see them, bastard. Your false king lied, and so did you. You told the world you burned the king beyond the wall. Instead, you sent him to Winterfell to steal my bride from me.
Alright, so this is where people are very contentious about. They say, how would Stannis know? Now, obviously, we don't know if Stannis really does know, or if he doesn't know. But we know he has communicated with Melisandre. So it's not hard to say that it's possible Melisandre and him have already talked about this and have this planned out.
Baratheon stood grim-faced by the funeral pyre as the lad's body was consigned to the flames. Afterward, the king had retreated to his watchtower. He had not emerged since, though from time to time his grace was glimpsed upon the tower roof, outlined against the beacon fire that burned there night and day. "Talking to the Red God," some said. "Calling out for Lady Melisandre," insisted.
Right there. So we know that as soon as that sacrifice is over, he goes back to where he has been before to talk to Lady Melisandre. So it is possible that he has talked to Lady Melisandre, and he knows that Mance Rayder is Rattleshirt is down there. So that's how Stannis would know that. So if you look at the means, does he have the pink wax? Yes. Does he have the raven? Yes. Motivation. What is his motivation to do this? Well, there is a lot of motivation for Stannis to do this. Stannis has said repeatedly that he wants Jon. He tried to get Jon to come down and help him so he can have, because he says that the North will rally around a son of Lord Eddard Stark. You could bring me the Mandalays. I could have a place to re-up. But Jon says no. He says to him, "Bend your knee and rise as Jon Stark, Lord of Winterfell, and swear your bastard sword to me." And he gets turned down over and over and over again. So Stannis, as you can see in his conditions, his men are deteriorated even worse in this state before he fights Ramsey in the phrase. So he desperately needs help. He needs a place for ammunition to re-up ammunition and get supplies. He doesn't know that the Mandalays are on his side at this particular time. So he desperately needs help. So he needs Jon to break his vows. He has tried to get Jon to break his vows a couple of different times, but Jon refuses to. So now he is going to his last resort by making this letter and this pitch to him. Back to the letter. Let's go on with that.
"Bastard" was the only word written outside the scroll. No Lord Snow or Jon Snow or Lord Commander, simply bastard. And the letter was sealed with a smear of hard pink wax. "You were right to come at once," Jon said. "You were right to be afraid." He cracked the seal, flattened the parchment, read, "Your false king is dead, bastard. He and all his host were smashed in 7 days of battle. I have his magic sword. Tell his red whore. Your false king's friends are dead, their heads upon the walls of Winterfell. Come see them, bastard. Your false king lied, and so did you. You told the world you burned the king beyond the wall. Instead, you sent him to Winterfell to steal my bride from me. I will have my bride back. If you want Mance Rayder back, come and get him. I have him in a cage for all the North to see, proof of your lives. The cage is cold, but I have made him a warm cloak for the skins of the 6 whores who came with him to Winterfell."
All right. So obviously, Mance was in the cage because of Stannis, so he knows he put him in the cage. So Jon would think that that is something that could happen to Mance again because he's seen him in the cage. Stannis is the one who did it. The cloaks of 6 whores. Why would he put that in there? Well, he knows that his sister is there. So if his sister is there, he's going to say, listen, Stannis is dead. Your sister's with a monster who cuts the skin off of women. What are you going to do? Are you really going to stay and allow that to happen? Jon's a man. He's not going to let that happen. And he knows it. That's why he put that in there. And that's what motivates him to go down there and get this done. Period.
Warm cloak for the skins of the 6 whores who came with him to Winterfell. I want my bride back. I want the false king's queen. I want his daughter and his red witch. I want his wildling princess. I want his little prince, the wildling babe. And I want my reek. Send them to me.
All right. So all that. How would Stannis know all those things? First off, it would have to be Stannis because Stannis is the only one who refers to the wildling as a princess and a prince. He is the only one. It is said over and over again when Jon says to him, the wildlings do not consider Val a princess. They do not call her that. They don't consider them a prince. They don't look for that. But Stannis constantly calls them that. I would have no reason for Mance, who is a wildling and does not consider them to be royalty, to call them princess or prince. Only one who has done that in the books is Stannis and his wife. They are the only people who do that. As for the Reek situation, how would he know he's Reek? He's there when Stannis is with Theon Greyjoy. He says to him, Ramsey is coming. He wants his Reek. He wants his bride back. He wants his Reek. The exact same way it is worded here is what is in the Winds of Winter sample chapter. The exact same words. Ramsey Bolton, trueborn Lord of Winterfell, is what was signed in a letter from Deepwood Mott, which Stannis took and has that letter in his possession. That is why I have to go with Stannis Baratheon has wrote this pink letter. I have given you the means. I have given you the motive and the opportunity. He's snowed in town, in it. He has nothing but opportunity. That is why I believe Stannis Baratheon wrote this letter. Now, I will say this. There is also another contender to write this. And this had just been brought to my attention. Someone said this to me. And after they said this to me, actually just today, and that person was Leafblade15. Thank you very much for putting me on to this. But there is another contender who could have wrote this letter and would have all the knowledge. And only one thing I cannot prove why this person wouldn't have written this letter. And that person is Melisandre. It is a good possibility that Melisandre did write this letter. She would have all the information in this letter. So, first, what we have to say, how could Melisandre have written the letter? First, we have to look at who gave the letter to Jon Snow.
off when Molly poked his nose inside the door, grim-faced, to announce that Clytus had brought a letter. Tell him to leave it with you. I will read it later. As you say, my lord, only Clytus don't look his proper self. He's more white than pink, if you get my meaning, and he's shaking. Dark wing.
All right. So we have Clytus is the one who brings the letter to Jon. Now, Clytus is the steward at Castle Black. But at this particular time, when Clytus is there, he's an old man, right? When Clytus is there at Castle Black, Clytus is a short, bald, and chinless man and considered very ugly. He has a pink eye and he is hunched, right? He's about 60 years old. Now gives this letter and he's scared. He doesn't even open the letter and he's scared. Why would he be scared if he doesn't know what's inside this letter? Now, what you have to ask yourself is the guy says specifically, Clytus doesn't look like himself. And then he says real quick, after that, he says he's white and he's shaking. Right? So you may say, oh, he doesn't look like himself because he's scared. But you know how George R. R. Martin does. He'll give you something and then give you something else to throw you right off it. So he says, Clytus doesn't look at himself. Let's look at it again. Listen again.
Off when Molly poked his nose inside the door, grim-faced, to announce that Clytus had brought a letter. Tell him to leave it with you. I will read it later. As you say, my lord, only Clytus don't look his proper self. He's more white than pink, if you get my...
Doesn't look his proper self. He's more white than pink. So he's saying he looks like he's afraid. So he's afraid of a letter he didn't even open. But he doesn't look like himself. Just like when Mance was in the cage saying you're burning, when Rattleshirt was in the cage saying you're burning the wrong man. All right? It could be something like that. So, you have to look at it. You have to say, why does she have the motive to do this? Why would Mel want to do this to Jon? She has to have a motivation to write this letter and get this done.
Borok is the least of your concerns. This arranging. A word from you might have swayed the queen. Selyse has the right of this, Lord Snow. Let them die. You cannot save them. Your ships are lost. 6 remain. More than half the fleet. Your ships are lost. All of them. Not a man shall return. I have seen that in my fires. Your fires have been known to lie. I have made mistakes. I have admitted as much, but a grey girl on a dying horse, daggers in the dark, a promised prince, born in smoke and salt. It seems to me that you make nothing but mistakes, my lady. Where is Stannis, Wattle Rattleshirt, and his spear wives? Where is my sister?
All right, so right here you see her motivation. She does not want Jon to go on that ranging trip. She does not want him there at all. She keeps the queen, tries to tell him not to go. The people are dead. He's still going to go. She tells him the queen is right. Don't go. He's still going to go. She goes, why? Because he doesn't believe her anymore. He doesn't believe. He's like, where are these daggers in the dark? I don't see it. You said this was my sister. And he says right there, Arya, who is my sister? So she knows she's concerned. So she puts in the pink letter, Stannis is dead, and all these people, and I've cut these 6 women. You see how concerned the guy is for his sister. Obviously, he's going to go down there and save her. So she has no idea. She does not want Jon to go on the ranging trip at all. Let's listen to it again, if you did not catch it. Mel's motive.
Face, costly. Borok is the least of your concerns. This arranging. A word from you might have swayed the queen. Selyse has the right of this, Lord Snow. Let them die. You cannot save them. Your ships are lost. 6 remain. More than half the fleet. Your ships are lost. All of them. Not a man shall return. I have seen that in my fires. Your fires have been known to lie. I have made mistakes. I have admitted as much, but...
So she's saying right there, she's made mistakes, but no one's coming back alive who goes there. And she does not want him to go because she believes he's the prince who's promised. And she doesn't want him to go. She doesn't want him to die.
Known to lie. I have made mistakes. I have admitted as much, but a grey girl on a dying horse, daggers in the dark, a promised prince, born in smoke and salt.
There, 3 things she told Jon. So she's already told Jon about a promised prince born in salt and smoke. She's told him about this already. She's told him about the dying girl and the daggers in the dark. He doesn't believe her anymore. So now she must do something drastic because she doesn't want Azor Ahai to get killed. So how could she do it? It's if you listen to the O.J. Simpson trial, Johnny Cochran said it. If you cannot trust the messenger, you cannot trust the message. Where does she have a chance to glamour herself to listen to him? Well, she's standing right by the guy when they're all in the room together.
Face cross-legged at her feet. Behind the queen looms Sir Axel Florent. Melisandre of Ashai stood closer to the fire, the ruby at her throat pulsing with every breath she took.
So right there, when they're all gathered together and everyone's in the room together, for some reason, Melisandre's ruby is pulsing by every breath she took. That doesn't happen when she's not doing anything. It only happens when she's setting something up. What she could have been setting up is her glamoring herself to look like Clytus to pass this letter. Why else would Clytus be afraid? Why would he not be unless she's giving off the appearance of being afraid to make Jon open the letter because he didn't want to open it right then. He wasn't gonna until he seen how afraid this dude was. That made him open it. Or he was just gonna leave it to the side. So I think it's more plausible than Mance all day that Melisandre could have wrote this letter. But I do believe Stannis wrote it. But I would say a wild card would be Melisandre, without a doubt. So since this has gone over for over a half an hour now, I think I have touched on everything. The only thing I can't say about Mel that maybe people can help me in the comments is the means would be hard. Obviously, if she's there, she wouldn't have to send the letter anywhere. She would just have to get her hands on some smeared pink wax. I just don't know if there's smeared pink wax at the wall. It's possible. I don't know. So that would be the only thing that would hold up the Mel situation. Everything else about the letter, everything in the letter, she knows 100%. So that would be the only hang up on the Mel theory is I don't know if she had pink wax. If she had pink wax, I would say that she wrote the letter. But the fact that I can't say she does, I have to leave that Stannis Baratheon wrote the pink letter. As for Mance Rayder, boom, boom, ba boom. As the Breaker Lie says, I do not see it being possible that guy did. If he did and I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. Anyone could be wrong, but I really don't think Mance wrote it. I do not see him having the means or the opportunity to write the letter. I see Stannis has all 3 and Mel has 2. So that's what I'm going to say about that. I hope I have discussed this much better than I did in my first one, because it's like I said, the first time I did that like 10 months ago when I never thought anyone's going to watch, and I just spit it up there just to spit it up there. So now this is a much better look at it, I hope, and I hope this helps you realize that Mance didn't write it. But if you still want to go with Mance, then that's your prerogative. Listen, I could be wrong. Anyone could be wrong. I have no idea. I'm just going by what I see and what I've heard. You make your own decisions about it, what you see, how you feel in your heart, and we just keep this thing moving. You know what I mean? That's just how we get down up in this biz. You know what I mean? So, as always, I'd like to say thank you for the people who have subscribed, who has taken the time to actually sit here and listen to me. I really do appreciate it. Anyone who likes to comment, please comment. As long as you're respectful, I will answer all your comments. And I will say that I have probably people that have tried to Facebook me. I think they're probably from this show, because I don't know of these people are. I haven't added you, and I don't really add people from the show because my Facebook page is just like my personal page. I have pictures of my children there and my family, and I just use it really for that. I don't use it for Game of Thrones stuff. It's like I said before, a lot of people in my life have no idea that I do this. Basically, everyone doesn't know I do this. This is just for me. So if I make a Facebook, so don't feel offended if I haven't added you. It's not that. Uh, if I ever make a Facebook page, then I'll let you know. I'll put that out there that I have a Facebook page for this channel, and we can comment on stuff like that. So I think I have gone through it enough. I think I've made my point in case. Please, if you think I'm wrong, then you do. Show me how, because I can't see it. I do not see how Stannis. Everything from verbatim, from the end, points to Stannis Baratheon, but the wild card is definitely Melisandre, and that's why I had to put that up in there for you real quick. So as always, when you want to get a little information or anything like that, you know who to come to. You know what I mean? The Don. And I'm working on a whole big thing. The next one I'm going to do, I have a couple of already done. I'm just going to record them. But the next one I'm actually writing and working on right now is I'm going to go through this faceless men thing. I'm going to tell you who the faceless men are working for. Jack and Hagar, all the faces he has turned to that I could figure out why he is dealing with Pate and all those people. Why he is there? Who are they working for? And their whole motivation and plots. We will try to get that done. That is very in depth. But we will get that done, and that'll be my next thing. So always, I need your help to get this house stronger. So subscribe, please. Tell your peoples about me, and let's just keep rolling. Let's just try to make people recognize who we are. And the only way we can do that is to have more subscribers. So let's just keep trying to build here. And anything you want to hear, get at me, and I'm definitely trying to make y'all happy and stuff like that. So as always, it's the Don Chip, Tony Teflon, House Teflon, Teflon 316. We pull the strings. The people's champ. Peace, and I'm out.